Thank you. me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back to the rhythm, let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. 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 Tell the DJ to bring a tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back.
Unique, flip the technique.
Do it like that, work it like that, shake it like that, take it right back.
Moves in my feet, hit the right beat. Make it unique, flip the technique.
Do it like that, work it like that, shake it like that, take it right back. Take it right back. You get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Do it like that, work it like that. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it like that, take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Do it like that, work it like that. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it like that, take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Take it right back.
My feet hit the right beat. Make it unique.
Four teams all sharing the spotlight tonight as we are down to the final four matchups of the tournament. It starts with the upper final of DSS Gaming versus Red Panda Gaming, then the lower semifinal of Celestial Titan versus Times, and that's all happening tonight, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the VALORANT Low-elo Challengers Cup 2 playoffs. I'm your host, Rebel, and joining me for the upper final tonight is Nick. Man, we've been waiting for this matchup for a long time. Tell me how you're feeling about this one.
This is definitely a game I am really excited about. I mean, maybe not this exact game is what I expected, but definitely some this sort of game. And I mean, these are definitely two teams that are very close to each other and have both been really good during this tournament so far.
100%. Both teams have been so dominant, Nick. And the thing is, with DSS Gaming, we finally got quite a few looks at this team. I actually remember, like it was yesterday, we were just talking about how dominant they were without having much other things to talk about. But to be honest, I feel like we're still in that position with this team. Every single match, Nick, they're just coming out of the gate win after win. But tonight, I think they're going up against a team that may be able to put up more numbers than their previous opponents. And there's no secret that DSS Gaming is heavily favored in this matchup, but what are your thoughts on this team?
I mean, so far every game we've seen them, they have looked really, really good. Even against a team like Minji 2 weeks ago, where it was a game that was expected to be really close, and if anything, on Minji's side, by many people, DSS just like was so dominant the entire game. And overall, they've just like showing that like even playing different comps that like normally you wouldn't expect, you don't consider to be like as like meta, they have just done so good every single game. And it's also a team where they don't really have like this one person that's just doing really good, and then like sometimes they'll have a bit of a worse game and then the rest of the team is going to be struggling. They have every single person in their team doing really good almost every game so far.
Yeah. That's a really important dynamic to have as well with a team like DSS Gaming that has such a good structure that relies a lot on synergy. And I 100% agree with you, so many layers on that side. Now, on the contrary, we've got Red Panda Gaming tonight going up against this team. And honestly, Red Panda Gaming, they've been incredibly dominant throughout their tournament run as well so far, and similarly to their counterpart tonight. Now, however, they've had their moments where they gave up rounds in games we didn't expect them to. Nonetheless, I think Red Panda Gaming actually has a better chance than any other team remaining in this tournament to beat DSS Gaming. And tonight we found out if that's the case. Matter of fact, many people have both of these teams in the grand final in their pick'ems as it seems. So we're getting a grand final quality matchup here. But do you think Red Panda Gaming can pull this off?
I definitely believe both teams have a chance here. Like, I definitely think that both teams are really good. And we could get a really close game. Even actually the third map so far is playoffs. But I could also see this game going both ways. Like, while I definitely wouldn't be surprised if we get a really close game, I also really wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams just started off really strong and then kept going through like that through the entire series.
Yeah, 100%. I think no matter what, I feel like we could easily finally get I think it'd be the first series actually that would go 3 maps in the playoffs so far. Yeah, every other game in this series has been 2-0. I think we can definitely go the distance on this one, Nick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Well, folks, it is time to get into a long-awaited matchup followed by elimination later, and it all starts here right now. This is VLE Challengers Cup 2 Playoffs, Day 6. In the world of competition, adrenaline is high, and you must do or die. Break through the fear when the end is near, and face your fight or flight. Fight for your life during the Ascension to become a champion. Ready your weapons and rev your engines and get ready for the ride. This is Ascension.
Inside of me, you better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me, and he gets cries real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. Loves the blood and gold, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force of blood in. If you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. There's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. There's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
All right, folks, it is time for the map veto. DSS Gaming versus Red Panda Gaming here. Red Panda Gaming did get Team A, banning out Ascent, actually, which is a map, Nick, that we actually see from DSS time and time again with that Phoenix Jet comp, and it looks like they want nothing to do with it. DSS getting rid of that Lotus, and we're starting things on Bind.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of an expected pick. I mean, it's a map that we haven't seen much. But I think that's exactly the reason why more teams would not play this, especially now that we're nearing the end of this tournament. I feel like in these last few games, there's a very good chance we see Bind. Unless, of course, we see any of these teams do really, really good at it.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, Bind is a really fun one to watch and to cast, especially like RPG. I feel like they've always played really fun comps on this map. I definitely expect to see probably a Yoru Raze here. Here we are. Gonna find out shortly.
Funny thing is, look at DSS's comp.
Wow. So we might get the Phoenix anyway, even though we don't get the Ascent. Now, this is... Ooh.
One of them.
Wait. Look at this RPG comp we have here. So we have a Reyna actually coming out from Izumi, which we don't see that agent on this map a lot. Interesting. Usually you have that Yoru in that spot.
Oh, and there's the Phoenix.
Yeah. So double duelist on both sides. You've got that fade for the information on DSS, and you've got the sky for info and flash on RPG. Nick, these are some interesting comps.
But you still have to see if Hunter's actually going to be going for that raise, but it's very likely.
Yeah. Which is interesting too, because when it comes to RPG and they play these double duelist comps that have raise in them, I actually usually expect Izumi to be the one playing that raise, but he actually opts into the other duelist instead, and Hunter's actually been coming in that raise position, which I think it's definitely a testament to the flexibility that RPG has. The fact that they're still able to utilize a double duelist comp like that and have someone be able to play the other agent just as well.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, I definitely expect Izumi to be the one on raise as well. I mean, we've seen him do that quite a few times. We've seen that he's quite good at it. But it's definitely a comp that I believe it's okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting here. So Phoenix Rays on the side of DSS with that Fade Cypher Brim. Now what's also interesting about that to me, Nick, is you don't have that Viper that can give that default wall over towards A short and go for those like lurks. You have to commit like a Cypher Cage, or you have to have like a Phoenix wall going up. You have a smaller window of time to actually get that space up A if you want to go for like a contact. So that's the interesting thing about their comp. And then on the flip end, you do get that Viper Brimstone, and of course you don't have that Sentinel in place. You've got that Raze Reyna. The only concern that I have, Nick, about the Reyna when it comes to this comp is on attack. I mean, you can't really get a lot of long-range value out of that Reyna, other than obviously the Sky going for those deep Trailblazers to assist the Raze. So I guess they're going to try to go for a lot more like close-range fights, you know, when it comes to this pick right here. So probably Reyna's going to be scaling through A short if they're doing like an A split, or through Hookah if they're doing a B split.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I'm not that's the one agent I'm not that sure about in their comp. Reyna isn't it? I mean, personally, Reyna's is an agent I'm not a fan of in general in most comps. However, like this is a map where she's a bit of a weird one to play, because I feel like she can't get as much value as she can on other maps. But I mean, she still can, and seeing that it's Izumi on someone who at least somewhat consistently has been managed to frag out and get quite good stats. I mean, he can definitely get at least some decent value out of her.
Yeah.
I don't know, with comps that definitely have like this weird twist to them. I mean, DSS is also
100%.
quite close to what I actually guessed. I mean, Phoenix instead of Yoru, kind of, I don't know. I like I kind of expected Draken to play Phoenix. I mean, it's something we've seen a lot, but definitely curious to see how this plays out. I mean, we've been surprised by comps like this in the past before, and we've seen them walk out quite well, completely unexpectedly. So
That's true.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, Phoenix. We don't see him a lot on Bind. I feel like I'm not a big fan of him on Bind, but I mean, it's DSS. How can I say he's bad when it's Draken and it's DSS playing it? I mean, they made it look really good on Ascent, and I mean, we've seen Phoenix on that map as well, but not necessarily in the same context that they were playing it. But I definitely think it's viable here, especially when you're going towards A, you have him going towards Hookah, you can take those close-range fights with the curveball, right? And honestly, the buff to his Blaze also made him way better, I feel like universally though, across all the maps, if he was an agent that you were to play. Now that you can actually throw it through the walls, I feel like there's so many good capabilities that you can get out of it when you're scaling the sites too. And then you've also got that hot hands. When you're pushing that site, you can go and try to get those players in those entrenched positions. So definitely some really good things to take away from it here.
Absolutely, and I mean, especially looking towards the A side of the map, I feel like Phoenix is definitely a lot stronger. I mean, you have these close range fights towards A short, even close showers, and heading towards lamps. I mean, especially with the buff and the change to curveball being the signature ability, you can definitely get a lot more value than you could in the past on this map. And the wall buff only helps.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be so good.
Yeah. They have used starting on defense though, so that I'm very curious to see how they decide to use the Phoenix here.
Now, what I like about it, though, is that we're getting a bit of like an NRG start to this here. Full running down B long, curveball, instantly through. Now, Frost is actually going to be the one over here towards A site. Now, this is a very heavy Cypher setup for a pistol round. He's actually got a classic and no armor. So both tripwires and a cage invested here, but the TP comes through. Looks like they want to take the fight straight to them, but Ghosty's good for 3 on the pistol round already. Trombone Man Noah with the response onto Izumi, and Frost with 2 of his own. And so far, I mean, both teams have made quite bloodshed of this round. Spike getting planted backside for B here. Immediate TP comes in from Frost, and so far DSS completely met with the unexpected on the pistol round so far, but the map is completely flipped. We've got RPG in the spawn of the defenders and vice versa. And they're making an approach here. Hear the drop down going over towards site. Cypher cam. Look out this back site. The Molotov comes through, but it's actually not good for the Spike here. Gonna have to go into the fights pretty soon, tapping onto the Spike. Gonna have to get it half. Trailblazer comes right on through. And he's gonna have to go for the fight, but he can't take it. Comey finishing things off in a pistol round for RPG.
I mean, what an unexpected start, I want to say. I mean, we've seen DSS play very aggressively, but I definitely did not expect them to go this much.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, it was also kind of unlucky for them. I mean, they had a read that RPG would like to push towards B. That just didn't happen, didn't work out for them. I mean, it looks like we have at least something similar here. Looks like we have a force like towards B, but like not any aggressiveness there.
And I actually love how DSS commit to this style as well. It's very convincing. They go for that 4-stack onto B once again, but they know Frost already. Picking up on the small tendencies that Frost plays in this site smoke. Now, all of DSS, Nick, have rotated, so that's the key part of this. Frost actually taken down, get a bit aggressive there, and Draken with the close range fight. Hunter able to get the fade away with the Bulldog, and so far, no damage to be found from anybody on DSS. And yeah, they got the Brimstone low, but heals coming right on through from Snickerdoodle. Word Buckethead with the classic. Get confirmed out by the Trailblazer. Goes for a first few shots and not able to do the damage. Flawless second round from Red Panda Gaming.
I think a very strong start. They even didn't get that many buys to have a better chance at converting here. I mean, RPG just gambled here, going in with 3 guns and 2 pistols. And now instead they get 4 rifles and a Spectre going into their bonus round with 3 full shields and 2 regent shields. So for a bonus round, this actually is very close terms.
Yeah. And what's nice about this too is it seems like they're very aware of how much RPG love this A space. So this time you actually see DSS changing it up just a little bit and going to farm that run it back. Still only 6 ult orbs, which actually blows my mind. But here we go. Looks like RPG actually want to make a bit of a rotation here, but I mean, they still find themselves in a very similar setup here. Frost by himself, but this time it's over towards B, so you gotta watch out for those tripwires. Spy cam. So you spot the first one out. You see Frost playing around the site here as they run in. Comey going down for the plant, but he rushes right on through, and Frost able to get 2. Looking over towards Hookah, not able to finish off the damage, getting traded off by Comey. And the retake has commenced. Brimstone down to 1 HP, but he takes him down, and Comey actually is able to get a Molotov kill off the back of that. Spike defusal starts to come through. They're not aware he's on right now, and he's sticking it. And DSS taking away their first defensive defuse here.
This is definitely an interesting start to the map. I mean, we've seen many different things attempted by DSS. This definitely was a much better look by them. Even though the round ended up being quite close, I really liked their approach here. But so far, I don't know, I feel like DSS has just been getting very, I mean, And I can't even say that they've been having wrong reads. They've just been getting straight up unlucky because they've constantly been trying to catch RPG off guard with their aggression, and they've just got it wrong every single time.
Yep. Oh, and Hunter actually goes right over Truck this time into the site, but French Toast is actually able to take him down. In the process, Trombone Man Noah goes right on through, able to slip through the cracks and grab the Vandal there. And even the Orbital Strike to come right on through in this round. Both teams really looking for blood in this A space once again.
Launching smoke.
And French Toast with 3 on the round. He's actually looking for the ace here, Nick.
Right here.
One
Ooh.
enemy remaining.
2 quick picks right there from RPG, but French Toast still alive, still well. Looking for the ace.
Gunner.
Comey is actually left to do the damage, takes down Lord Buckethead. That is the IGL on the side of DSS Gaming. It's actually RPG with the spike in hand. Going to have to look for the plant here. Spy cam coming through, but Frost just walks right into the angle with a classic and deletes him. So there it is, second round for DSS.
I mean, this is pretty much where the map starts at this point. We definitely had a kind of slow start, but it looks like now DSS is kind of picking it up and starting to do much better, getting some much closer rounds. But I mean, even in these rounds where DSS is starting to do good, RPG is definitely putting up one hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it looks like they actually have like a first immediate B push here from RPG. Definitely a bit of a more like unexpected setup for it as well.
Yeah. It's pretty standard the way they're playing it too. You have that Viper actually playing off that toxic screen, looking for any aggression to come through short just off of the pressure that they're putting at B, but DSS are not budging. You even see the rotation to come through as well. Not only do they have the Cypher set up here, but I mean, they also have numbers, but Buckethead, a little bit too committed to the peak there, actually gets taken down with the Sheriff, so teleport's gonna come right on through. Still 2 players of DSS left here, and Trombone Man Noah was able to take one down. Incendiary for the plant denial. And so far, they're making pretty good work of this. Showstopper, invested from French Toast, actually takes 2 of the members of RPG down. And Ghosty able to do some damage with the classic here. Recovers the Phantom, but I mean, there are 3 standing on the opposite end, and it's 3 on DSS, so this one's looking a bit unlikely.
30 seconds left.
I see them such low HP as well. I mean, yeah, just to spam the, not that much to be done. I don't know, I feel like that specific round wasn't really a round we can choose an example of how things are going to go. I mean, it looks like RPG had a bit of a miscommunication there in the beginning of the round, having 3 players towards Hookah and then having this guy run around all the way towards Garden to help. So I definitely don't think this was just like a little slower start from them making like a small mistake with what they intend to do. But it looks like here we have actually a more proper default setup, I want to say.
There's a really nice utilization of the new Blaze mechanic there. You actually see him use it to get French Toast out of that corner. Now, one style, Nick, that I wasn't expecting to see on this map is a Phoenix and an Odin, but together. I wasn't expecting to see this style here, but I'm all here for it. Actually, look how deep actually RPG were able to work up here. I mean, they're starting to figure out how Frost is playing this site. He's going to have to be careful pretty soon of where he's bunkering down. And that does give RPG the space to comfortably put down that Viper's Pit. Orbital Strike coming right on through and run it back. Invested into the retake here. He's looking for that Viper, and he actually found him. He just spams him right at the last second off the timer to run it back. But his teammates fall. All of RPG cleaning up DSS as they flood out of the choke for the retake. Wow.
I mean, how many turns around, like how many things can happen? I mean, we had RPG taking the site so well there, with Izumi actually being almost all the way up CT, but then just had to fall back, managed to lose like all the advantage he had due to his position, then falls without getting a pick. And then just, even though the round looked lost for RPG, they just managed to turn this completely around.
I've got your trail.
Yeah, it's keeping things pretty close here too. Immediate stim beacon over towards A short. Actually also get the showstopper from Hunter. Able to date down the anchor in Trombone Man Noah. But French Toast, pretty good trade. Nightfall to come through from Lord Buckethead, but the Trailblazer's good. On to him. Brings out the knife, but it gets awkward. Snickerdoodle completely drops.
Bring them down.
And now he's got control of this shower space. If he can keep this, this makes the retake that much easier for DSS. He knows there's a thorn in the backside, though. Izumi is trying to sniff out that shower space, but curveball right on through the blaze there. And Frost actually able to get the first kill, and Izumi regroups over towards short. Ghosty with the reload gets forced out to the corner, but the Viper wall makes it awkward. And Izumi couldn't even see him to assist, and DSS swiping away with that one in good fashion.
We good. We good.
I mean, again, it all comes down to that awkward position. As you said, that Vital actually made it so weird. I mean, I even saw Izumi get so, like, confused as to what the play should be there. I mean,
Yeah.
because of that Vital, he suddenly has one person defusing that he could shoot, but he's also vulnerable to a person to his left that he can no longer see because of the wall. And
Yeah.
then knowing that the other person was also towards U-Hole, I mean, that just gets so overwhelming. We have that more like D4D approach here from RPG. Like towards B, but
And off that Trailblazer, Nick, they actually know this Cypher setup's towards B now. Bit curious, though. They're actually sending Spike alone into that space, but nonetheless, Oko Strike comes through. And Frost actually able to get one with the trap wire and get away. It's a good trade for them, but I mean, it doesn't even things out on the side of RPG at all. And even the spy cam tagging through. Tries to go for the spam, but Komi
Spike planted.
able to find the trace and take him down. Empress coming out from 5 AM Izumi. Going in for the retake. Almost getting put to a halt, but Trombone Man Noah takes one down, and Draken to follow up. Looking for it over towards Long, and he takes him down. DSS with a really clean 3v3 retake there.
and there it is. I mean, this was once again something we've talked about many times, but DSS's retakes are also something that are really good. I mean, it's aggression in general. And in a situation like that, like with that position, that is just the thing they can do the best. I mean, they had Drummond on in a really, like, unexpected position, getting the first pick, and then just everything crumbles. And I don't know, like, I feel like something RPG has been really good at so far this tournament is just being that, like, thorn in the back whenever you try to pull like a play like this, or just any retake. Like, they just constantly, they're not letting you do as you wish, and that's something that they didn't manage to do there. But I feel like that's something they really, really have to do against DSS. They cannot let them get into retakes or get in position for retakes so easily and so quickly.
That's a really good point, because I feel like DSS are so good at those situations. You're absolutely right. And RPG gonna have to get ahead of them moving into the game, but wonder if they'll be aware of that too. Because I mean, these retakes have been so strong. Hunter looking for blood over towards B site, but you see RPG actually want to play this eco round a bit slower. Look for any picks that they can get. Try to work as much contention around the map as possible. And it's actually Hunter trying to bring fights over towards B, but Draken just goes for a dry peek. Doesn't even bother with the curveball either.
Tripwire destroyed. Tripwire destroyed.
Frost running towards Shower. Pops the one way. Actually almost getting completely stopped there, but the incendiary from Trombone Man Noah actually takes down
30 seconds
Snickerdoodle.
left.
Makes things much easier on him, but so far they've fended off this A site so well.
One enemy remaining.
And that's it. DSS sweeping that round. Good damage from RPG though, and honestly, one of the nice things about that round, Nick, is I like that RPG kind of switched the tempo up a little bit and try to like look for different patterns from DSS, kind of like you were talking about.
Absolutely. They tried something different. They tried a slower approach. I mean, at the end of the day, it might not have worked out for them as well as they'd want, but this was a safe round. I mean, they went in with 4 pistols, so
Yep.
it was definitely not a bad attempt from them. And I'm trying to think here, like, as RPG's coach, what would someone be telling them here? I mean, so far the best chances they've had is when they decided to try things differently. And I mean, that is definitely something that RPG has been doing quite well so far in pretty much all of their games. But at the same time, like, the rounds they've managed to win and do well so far this game have been pretty straightforward and similar things. That, like, since DSS has just been trying to get in their way from and not let them redo.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's not necessarily a change in play style they need to do, but just a change on how they approach the round early on.
Yep.
And what info they give.
I 100% agree, because I feel like the biggest thing for me, Nick, right now that DSS are doing so well are those mid-round fights, but also like the retakes, right? They're not doing these crazy like take space early round, even though in Pistol we saw them go 4-man B long, but they're not doing these crazy early round protocols. They're just going for those orbs and fighting later.
Absolutely. And I mean, they've just been so confident. I mean, just like you said last round as well, we had Draken not even bothering to use a curveball, just peeking, and just like he did this round as well. I mean, this is something that you absolutely don't want to have, especially for a player like him. Start getting really confident and start peeking and getting, and especially when he's actually winning those fights. Especially in a round like this, because it's a round that RPG needs to win.
Bring them down.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it gets pivotal when you get to territory like this. I mean, once again, we're in retake territory, but I think one thing RPG have been really good at is evening out the numbers as best as possible. And Izumi actually almost takes him down before he can actually get the showstopper to go through. And as the shots come down, raining from both teams, Hunter actually able to clean up both last players. And that's the clutch. RPG got that pivotal round.
I mean, yeah, and a really good round from them as well. It got down, like, really close. But definitely a good round nonetheless. They managed to get that showstopper out from DSS. They're not going to have this round. But, I mean, both teams are quite close on big odds. I mean, we have that running back from DSS. We're close to that orbital strike by DSS as well. But they're also, look at, like, RPGs. They're close to quite a few odds. So I wonder which one they're going to decide to go for here, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not the way to start, though, for DSS. Actually, 2 members going down at the beginning there, but Phoenix Odin able to land onto 1. And DSS, they've been pretty good at trades so far, but this time they're at the man disadvantage after that early round fight. And honestly, I think it's safe to say at this point that RPG have adjusted pretty well.
Still waiting. Where are you? Fire in the hole!
Hunter right on through.
Down A.
Almost actually found more off the back of that, but once again, even numbers here in the mid round. Going for the plant. In danger, actually, of the U-Haul swing, but still able to land it down. The 2v2 is commencing. Comey looking to go for the peek, but Lord Buckethead on his lonesome to go look for the clutch, but the off angle towards short. Actually doesn't see Ghosty standing out in the open there, so RPG run away with the 5th round.
Last round before the switch.
I mean, these rounds have definitely been going very much in RPG's favor, and it looks like they actually had that very change we said. I mean, they haven't changed their play style again. They're playing still really aggressively, taking sets fast, but they're just so much more careful early into the rounds, trying to win at least as many fights as they can. And they have done that pretty well. I mean, they've started both rounds with an advantage so far. It's actually DSS on the lower buy here. And around that, at least for them, would be quite nice to win.
And the half actually comes all down to this. Lear both going through, carrying it with the flash that time, but actually the orbital strike from Trombone Man though is able to claim 2 lives of RPG, and they've been completely halted at the doorstep. And DSS getting the 7th round and finish off the half in the lead.
I mean, what a way to finish off the half, right? And I definitely expected that DSS had a chance to win this round, but the way they decided to approach that with that orbital strike, getting those 2 picks with it immediately, just completely shut down RPG's plan. I mean, after that, there's just only so much one team can do. Oh no, I mean, this game so far has just been full of surprises, to be honest.
Yeah.
What I'm really thinking of is that DSS, though, has consistently been really strong on the attack half. Well, yes, like we said, their defense is really good. The main thing that stands out on DSS's defense is their aggressiveness early into the rounds or when it comes to their retakes.
Yep.
So I definitely don't believe that it's a team that, like, are better on the defense half. I definitely think that they actually shine on the attack one. But at the same time, we haven't seen them play this map. And this is definitely a map that I believe, at least in my opinion, is more defense-sided than attack-sided.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure. Again, I can definitely see this going both ways, even right now, looking at the score and how the game has been going so far. But I mean, any advantage by DSS here is really big. And even if it's a small one, it's one that can definitely get really big this round.
100%. I mean, this is the moment where if they get this pistol round, I mean, things look a little bit bleak for RPG. Because the other thing about this as well, Nick, is this is RPG's map pick, right? So if they go down on this one, I mean, they can honestly say bye to this series because they're going straight into DSS's map on map 2.
Exactly. Like this round that RPG, I wouldn't say necessarily needs, but it's definitely really important. It's going to make a big difference into this map.
Izumi actually playing for the drop down here. He's actually going to play for Trigger Discipline, able to get 1 down, and actually 2. He's gotten away with murder there. So far, it looks like they're making really good work of this pretty pivotal round. Spike going to be planted towards backside. Incendiary to come through. Spy Camp sees 3 players over towards Hookah, but they're looking to convert things here. First point of contact coming from Elbow, but both of them have to go for the reload. It's too much to handle. And although RPG had low health on their side, they've handled it very well.
Absolutely, and I really like actually the way they decided to play this round out.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Ghosty there try to grab some attention and even managed to get an early pick and then just let Izumi do the rest and then decided to play offside and just trust his teammate to at least give him an advantage. And I mean, he did exactly that. He got those 2 other picks, left the round as a 4v2. And on a pistol round, there's only so much you can do in a round like this, especially with our setup, considering they had Ghosty coming out of Elbow and the other 3 coming out of Hookah. I mean, this round where the game could potentially go 7-7.
Lots of patience from DSS here. Looking for RPG to bring the fight to them, but RPG not budging. Aware of the weaponry of DSS this round. Not looking to take those close range gunfights now. Looks like Lord Buckethead might have made contact there. So you get that sky smoke over towards short already on top box. Prowler ready over towards U-Haul, but it actually doesn't spot Snickerdoodle. He's able to get away with 2. It's a good bait and switch, and there it is, 3. And he's made really good work of that position. I mean, Ghosty's already on the flank here.
Last player standing.
I mean, yeah. Good damage by Trombone Man Noah there, but Comey to clean off the last 2 of the round. An RPG still with 3 left standing. Get the second round of the second half.
So definitely not a bad round from them. But, I mean, just a good start into this half coming from RPG. This is a round where
That goes there.
DSS is the one with the advantage here.
This goes here.
So I am not sure. I mean, if the RPG manage to win this round, they have a huge advantage going into the rest of this map.
This is a nice spot.
If DSS win this, it's definitely the game. It's pretty much when the attack's going to be beginning, because then both teams are going to be on equal terms.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is a really important round for DSS. Bonus could do something that while they had the advantage in the attack, in the defense half, sorry, I mean, the match is on equal terms now. Well, they have the advantage this round. They could also very well have the disadvantage if they don't manage to win.
I mean, it gets a little bit... I'm a little bit nervous here, though, looking at it, because, I mean, Bind is one of those maps where, I mean, you can play for those really ratty, close-range angles, though. And I feel like RPG are also really good no matter, like, what guns they have in their hands. I mean, if they're classics, okay, it's going to be hard against Vandals, right? But it's not classics. I mean, they've got 2 Bulldogs, they've got a Spectre, they've got a Bucky. So, I mean, this is still a really manageable loadout for them. So I still feel like although DSS are supposed to have the advantage coming into this round, I still feel like it's a pretty even arsenal, just given that they have to run into those weapons on RPG.
Exactly. It's definitely not a round that is going to be like too hard for RPG. It's definitely a round that is very winnable. But I mean, like you said, DSS definitely have quite the advantage here.
And there it is. Frost already catching out Izumi in that long-range angle to take the first one down. And that's also the thing you have to worry about in the late game as well, Nick, is discipline. Start to get caught out in those early rounds where DSS just go for those dry peaks, but very safe ones at that. Just looking for RPG to make any sudden mistakes here. And actually that Trailblazer, or Guiding Light rather, not getting anything over towards short. Could plant that seed of doubt, but they've worked themselves up the site. And Comey's actually the one here with the Spectre, so he might be able to get through, but it looks like French Toast actually heard the sound cue from the footsteps and took him down. Now, Snickerdoodle's the only one left here that can do damage with the Bucky in hand. But the seeds to come through. DSS are managing this so damn well so far. And even on the angle, look at that. Not even trying to contest U-Hauls immediately. They play the long-range angle and almost have like a triple high-low there. It's a really nice set piece. I want to call to whoever called that one from DSS. And Hunter, 1 HP and a flawless from DSS.
I don't know, like you said, I really like this approach. I mean, against the bonus round, it's probably one of the few rounds where you do not want to try and contest that U-Haul and lamp space, because it's a really, really risky one. I mean, that's exactly what RPG tried to do. They tried to take advantage of that and use that Bucky to at least get that one pick when DSS decided to play for that, except they did the exact opposite and just played as far away from me as possible and had multiple people ready for a person being there.
Yeah. I mean, this is the scary version of DSS, Nick. I feel like we're starting to see the true intellect of the boomers coming out here. And this time, Spike left back once again.
Go get him. Grenade!
They understand who they're up against. DSS are playing it nice and slow here. Getting Ghosty to reposition. I mean, RPG are doing well of this, not budging so far. Playing to their discipline. It's like they even want to re-clear towards this shower space. But Frost is here. Not aware of the second one, though. A little bit too wide on the angle. Izumi, second point of contact over towards B. He's able to dismiss out, but French Toast is actually already on the case. Izumi's still alive here.
30 seconds left.
He actually gets taken down onto the site, and Ghosty wasn't posted onto the angle either. So maybe a bit of miscomms from the RPG camp there, but Ghosty does still actually get that trade.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Draken,
Get back.
he had to run it back, but he actually goes for the fight
Bring them
instead.
down.
He's aware of the elbow space, but he actually takes down Comey. And Bucket has found himself actually in a clutch situation and takes him down. The clutch for Lord Buckethead, the IGL for DSS Gaming. He didn't have a lot of kills before that round, but he has completely turned things around.
And I mean, that is pretty much what we said before this game started. DSS is a team where every player is very good. I mean,
Yep.
even in a round where it looks like it's a really bad position, it looks like even from Draken, there was a bit of a misplay there, not using that U tool to play safer with that run it back. But I mean, Bucket there at the end with the 1v3, playing that so well and managing two players trying to push him from two different angles.
Smoke's down.
I mean, look at that. Now they have
your
so
fear!
much U tool and even the ultimates to play off.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the minimap as well, bit of a wrong read from RPG here, but making a good play on their save round. Try to go for a gun there, stack the bodies, but Trombone Man Noah actually meeting his maker there through the
Bring them
teleporter.
down.
Does go down. That is a rifle recovered for RPG.
Last
French
player
Toast
standing.
to the angle. Zumi not able to pull out the Vandal in time. Hunter left by his lonesome with HP. So it looks like Lord Buckethead heard the drop down there. So DSS getting away with that next win.
And I mean, I don't know, this is just a point where you do not want to let DSS start get the gap there. You do not want them to win too many rounds in a row.
And this is definitely a really good time to address that as well. A very well-timed timeout for RPG. I definitely think this is a good time to figure out how they want to change this tempo because, to be honest, Nick, I feel like DSS are actually exploiting the patience of RPG right now. We know this is a team that loves to go for those engagements. RPG always look for some sort of engagement, whether it's early or mid-round. And so DSS are actually playing the long game right now. They're trying to force out mistakes. They know RPG get antsy in the mid to late rounds. So they're trying to spend those early rounds, you know, planting those seeds of doubt, trying to get them to use utility so it makes those execs a lot easier. It also makes those clutch situations easier. You saw that situation where Lord Buckethead was in the clutch, and, you know, because DSS played that round so well, they got enough utility out of them and enough HP damage to set him up for that clutch as well. And pretty soon RPG are going to have to be aware of that style.
Exactly. I mean, RPG is just definitely going to have to change something here. And before it was like a small change, I feel like this is a point where they're going to need a much bigger change than just like how they approach the rounds early on.
And it looks like they actually started with a quick takeover here towards A, but he does a lot of damage onto Lord Buckethead, but he actually gets taken down by Frost. And also that engagement lost over here at B Long. He was by himself, Nick.
I know exactly where you are.
Neural
There it
theft.
is, there's the neural theft.
Yep.
I mean, but it's just clear they know there's Ghosty towards CD. Open Man's just ready there.
I mean, yeah, they... Oh! What? Okay.
Definitely an unfortunate moment. I mean, but also got some damage and Ghosty's on 1 HP. And I mean, time is ticking right now. They need to start moving.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help that one of them is 1 HP. But also, I mean, they do have hookah and CT control. So, I mean, this is a pretty decent position to be in. But the incendiary actually stopping them at their tracks. And he goes on to the spike here. Going to have to play for the spam. He moves right through it. Frost with the running gun. Able to secure the 11th round for DSS Gaming. And they're running away with this one.
Definitely seems like they are. And that, once again, is definitely not something you want to see from RPG's side. Firstly, because, again, you don't want to lose the first map either way. But in this case, this is also RPG's map pick.
Yep.
And while, yes, Sunset's the map they've been good at, this is the map they chose. It's the map that they're supposed to have the advantage against DSS here. And so far, DSS has won 4 rounds in a row, which is something that you really, really don't want to see. Like this round where... And I mean, there it is, Frost with that early pick that... Surprisingly, Frost has had so many first bloods this game, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I was nervous about how this comp was going to play out on attack. I'm not going to lie, Nick. But, I mean, they're working it pretty well. They're just walking up on some of these Viper walls from RPG. And also just utilizing that Cypher on these longer angles. Just going for these lurks. These 4-1 defaults we're getting.
Smoke's down. Joke's over. You're dead.
Showstopper coming through from French Toast. Also coupled with the run it back by Draken. Goes right through the smoke. Izumi does take him down. Looks like he was worried about the CT control there, but here it is. Empress popped. Now, one of the biggest things when it comes to this ultimate, folks, is you want to be able to snowball off of the kills. 3 into CT from RPG, looking to commence things coming out into this, and there it is. Stim Beacon coming right on through, but it's a little bit too much for French Toast to handle. Goes down to the Phantom of Ghosty, but Izumi just walking through the smoke there. Actually gets completely taken down, and Draken following things up here. Looks like Komi's trying to find a good spot to get onto the fuse, but the orbital strike comes through. And once again, it's too much for RPG to deal with. Ghosty going to just have to go for it here, but he has no time left in the tank. Trombone Man Noah, last kill there. And they have secured map point. 12-7 for DSS right now.
Match point.
Absolutely. And I mean, what a round. I mean, DSS used so much there. And I feel like many people would say that DSS even used too much when it comes to ultimates. They used their Showstopper, they used running back, they used the orbital strike. But I feel like this is a round where winning is so important. Because getting that 12th round puts so much pressure on RPG.
Yep.
Because while, yes, the game is definitely still winnable for them, they need to win 6 rounds or 5 rounds without making a single mistake.
Ooh, all right, they were aware of it this time. Just caught a glimpse of it on the minimap there. Frost almost had both of them, but let's go down. And doubled up here, actually, in Lamps. You see they want that Lamps control, but because the wraparound from backside actually comes through, they have no escape plan for RPG. As you said, DSS playing it perfectly right now. Not making many errors in these last few rounds of the game, but they look to split up a little bit here. Ghosty able to take down French Toast off the reposition from Shower, and a follow-up from Izumi. So this actually makes things a bit possible as they've evened it out from both ends. Run it back to come through, but that's actually stalling them right now. They're just going to have to deal with it and go for the defuse here. Draken still keeping them stalled right now. Not much time left in the tank, and still the incendiary to come through. Viper's Pit invested. Izumi gets the headshot, but Draken with the kill on the hot hands finishes things off, and that's a DSS map win.
I mean, there it is.
Wow.
What a map.
For sure. I mean, it's not the dominance that we're used to seeing, but it's still pretty good. It's very convincing, I have to say, from DSS. It looked really good, and I definitely feel like, though, Nick, RPG had really good control of the tempo early in the game, and I feel like they felt much more comfortable, and their synergy was definitely working more in their favor. But later on, DSS had just like perfect reads, I feel like, from beginning to end of every round.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, DSS definitely had a bit of a slower start. RPG was looking really good though, consistently through at least most of the game. And then at the end, I can't even say that they started looking worse. It's more like DSS just started getting that momentum. And then after that, there's just only so much you can do. I mean, the stress starting to get to you, you're getting close. For RPGs, also the fact that it's a map pick and it's a map that they really don't want to lose. And then it just gets worse and worse with every round lost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're absolutely right when it comes to the mind games. I mean, you're worried about defeat on the other end, and this is definitely a situation where RPG find themselves already on the back foot in this series. DSS taking the first map away, and right after the short intermission, we're going into DSS's map pick, so stick around. You won't want to miss it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're nice and hydrated back from the intermission. RPG going down on their map pick to DSS 13-7. And we're moving things to Sunset, which is DSS's map pick, and they're up in the series. Nick, how do you think this one's going to go?
I don't know. I mean, DSS looked so strong going towards that second half. And I think this is the map pick that last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, against Midgie, they had such a good look. Because while, yes, people might say, like, oh, they didn't do as good as they did on Ascent against Midgie, in that game, there was also a game where we actually saw Midgie play well. On Ascent, they definitely had, like, a really slow start. Yeah. So playing that dominantly against a team that good, I definitely believe that this is a really good map for DSS. But at the same time, this is a map that has very often been RPG's map pick. So
I mean, that intrigues me, though. I wonder what DSS have planned here, because you're right, you just mentioned it. It's usually RPG's the one picking Sunset, but DSS get it here. Now, I mean, we've seen it from DSS before. I feel like they struggled just a little bit against Minji because it was a 13-7 map, and although that's still a very dominant score line, I don't expect like a team like Minji to get that many rounds on DSS, right? Given the history of both teams, at least relatively in this tournament alone. So I think RPG have a good chance maybe to maybe get more rounds on this map than they did on Bind, which is crazy because Bind was their map pick and Sunset wasn't, but I still think they could find more success on Sunset just because of that alone.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I don't know though. Like, it's definitely like a map where, just for the sake of even having a good game, I'm hoping we see RPG managing to do better, or at least manage to like have a good start.
Yep.
But at the same time, I feel like this map is definitely at least going to start off close. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, we also have DSS starting on defense again, don't we?
Yep. Yeah, DSS are starting on defense, RPG on attack.
Yes. And I mean, this is a half where RPG has done better so far.
Yep. Now, one thing I actually also want to highlight, though, Nick, is the Sentinel role. And coming into Sunset, obviously, I expect to see a Cypher on both ends. And Frost on Bind actually was able to find so much impact. He wasn't the match MVP. That was actually French Toast. But Frost, a very valuable player for this squad on that Bind map with 5 First Bloods. And that's the most out of everyone in the lobby. So his lurks have looked really good. And we know that on Sunset, that Cypher lurk is a big role. You know, you have that cam towards the window towards A or the cam in the window towards B, where you have him go towards tiles mid to go for those late backstabs off of the A or B pushes, where they use market. It's so many really good things that you can get out of Sunset lurk. So this is a guy to watch out for if you're RPG.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was also such a different way to approach Lurks. I mean, normally you would see Cypher play slowly, walk up, try to get kills from like further back. But instead, we had him go for really fast engagements.
Yeah.
Maybe after his team made some noise across the map, he'd immediately peek and try to get those early picks. And I mean, he very often walked. So it's something to be really wary of. And definitely something that's really hard to play against. Because again, that is just something you don't expect.
Yep.
Like when you expect legs, you expect someone to come slowly from the back, late into the round. Or maybe even like a bit earlier, but definitely not this early.
100%.
So I don't know how they decide to play around that, or if we're gonna see Frost play the same way. So definitely wouldn't be surprised if he decides to take it a lot slower on this map and just use how the first map went as something to just be a thorn in the back of RPG's minds right now.
Yep. Now if the agent select coming through here, I don't anticipate we're actually going to get that Viper from RPG, but Draken actually on the Sova this time. So hanging up the Phoenix. I'm going to go into the Sova here for Sunset. Looks like French Toast is going to be on that raise, so I mean the roles make a lot of sense for them.
Definitely. And I mean, if there's a map to see a change from Draken, it would be this. Not Sunset specifically, but like this map. We're getting late into this tournament. We're gonna see probably many changes come from teams, and just see some things that they've been kind of like hoarding off and not using early into this tournament, just to have like the element of surprise going into these games.
Ooh, wait, that's a really good word there. Element of surprise. I feel like that's one of the most important things when it comes to a deep tournament run as well. I'm glad you mentioned that because, I mean, if we had an Ascent in this series, say, and you have DSS, right? This comp, they've played this Phoenix comp many times here, and so many teams have gotten to see it. I feel like you get to a point where you can actually start exploiting like certain styles. So that element of surprise becomes more and more important as you get deeper into the tournament. So I actually really like that you point that out.
I mean, it's just something that's so important going into this. Because the thing is that this is the point where even when you don't know what team you're going against, you can look into multiple teams, because it's not a point where we have the 16 teams like early into the tournament, or even the 8 when you went into the group stage. You don't have like a point where you don't know who you're going to be up against. Like for example, like DSS practicing for the next team they're going to play. They have 2 possible teams they're going to play against.
Yep.
So it's a point where there's going to be a lot of auditing each other even before you even know your opponents. So they have a lot of time to get ready. So having a change there can be so detrimental, and like that's pretty much as we said, that element of surprise can catch people so off guard, especially as big of a change there from switching to a duelist onto a Sova here, for example.
Yep.
I mean,
The other thing I like about it,
yeah.
No, I was gonna say the other thing I really like about it though is on the side of RPG we actually get the Yoru race comp, and we haven't seen that a single time actually so far in this tournament. So they're really playing to that element of surprise.
Exactly. I was about to say the same thing. I really like how that's their approach. I mean, again, it's a team that have been doing so well playing aggressively, and in the complex, I really like the Yoru, because he's an agent that can also play that flash initiator role, kind of. But also, you have a bit more you to obey you. Yoru's an agent that can have such an impact on the game with his teleports. So it's definitely a comp I quite like. But I mean, we pretty much have the standard meta comp for this map.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've seen DSS run a meta comp yet.
Yeah, true. We're in a lot of really interesting things.
I must wait a moment.
But I mean, Draken got caught out there too. She wasn't able to find the opening. Frost still playing around the site. Cage is good, but not enough support comes soon enough. Zumi able to take him down and get out with the gate crash. Now, looks like on this pistol round already, Nick, we're going to get a bit of a spam fest from B main. Tap comes down right onto the spike. And there's the eye to come right on through. They actually used the satchel to get him off, but that stun was so good.
One enemy remaining.
The satchel sticks right onto him, but Izumi coming over towards Market, trying to go for the clutch, but 3 left standing for DSS, and the defuse comes through.
I mean, once again, here are those retakes we talked about on Bind. Even with a disadvantage, I mean, a 4v3 and it's quite a disadvantage, even though it's only one person, especially going into a retake, it's definitely a bad position to be in. But I mean, they just looked so good going into that. They actually barely even took any damage
Yeah.
to that retake, which is even more impressive. Especially in a round that is pretty much on exact equal terms.
Similar setup here. Once again, just a straight B hit. But I mean, completely caught out by the trip bars. But this time, Hunter actually makes good of that kill over towards backside, getting ahead of Frost before he's able to get more value. But Draken, the chip damage with the shocks have been so good. Looks like he actually might want to get a spam there as well, but gets counter spammed, and even Izumi taking control of the Boba space. I mean, RPG actually dealing with this second round eco so well. What in the world is that from Hunter? Paranoia hits onto him, and he's able to get away with a fadeaway run and gun. And Draken's left onto 1 HP, so I mean, not much he can really do here. I mean, that round was quite a spectacle from RPG, I have to say.
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't forced, so it was definitely on closer terms. They didn't run in with pistols. They had stingers, but still a really good round to win by them. I mean, while they might not have this big advantage they would have going in with rifles against DSS's bonus, they still have guns against pistols here. And they're going to have quite the economy going into the following rounds if they manage to win this.
I'll find you.
French Toast got a little too aggressive there. It's taken down through the dark cover, but from Bone Man, though, actually in a position maybe to use the Shrouded Step to get over it. Meanwhile, RPG are all going towards this B site. Just off that A pick alone, they've successfully planted the seed of doubt in DSS. As the spike gets planted, things do get confirmed here. I mean, they love this backside space as well. They're getting right ahead of it, right into Boba. Boombot also confirming the presence there. Izumi takes down the last 2 of the round. 3 for him and a flawless for RPG.
And I mean, so far a very, very good start into the map. We're starting to, in a game like this, I don't know, this was definitely a weird start. I mean, with our force, we're essentially going into that quote-unquote bonus round on round 4 instead of 3. But definitely a really important round here for,
for sure.
Pretty much the rest of this map.
Ooh. I don't know if you
I
saw,
don't
but
even want to start there. Yeah, that was exactly what I actually stopped talking because of. I got caught a bit off guard there. I mean, what a start. Going into 5 versus 2 already. Not even a minute into the round.
mean, it makes it awkward for RPG too. I mean, how do you regroup off this? Not even a minute into the round, as you said. They only have 2 left standing. Even it makes things further awkward. Is the Aldrone catches Ghosty on his lurk. And Comey pretty soon is going to get spotted here. Full Cypher setup. He's got all the information. They've confirmed at this point where both players are. Made contact with 1 tiles, 1 towards B main. So you see them, DSS rotating towards this B space as they know where the hit is coming. Spy cam going to get taken down.
30 seconds left.
And Frost actually might push right through this one. I mean, if they can manage to take down Frost on the site, they might have a small chance here, but it's going to be a bit difficult. And there's the first one. Frost taken down. Ghosty actually following up with 3 on the round. He's down to 8 HP, but I mean, they're going to have to go for the spike plant soon.
10 seconds
He gets
left.
right across. No paint shells in store for French Toast. Does go for the first shot. Takes him down. They've actually forced it down to a 1v1, but no time to plant. And Trombone, all he's got to do is hide. That was a close round right there. RPG almost with the 2v5 conversion.
I mean, what a turn around. Because while, yes, DSS managed to win this, they were actually the ones with the disadvantage going into this round. Found out while they definitely wanted to win, they also want to win with as many lives as possible. Going into this round, I mean, look at their money, or look at their buys. They have 2 Stingers and the saved Phantom. So, I don't know, RPG definitely has an advantage going in here.
Ooh, and Frost gets caught out trying to escape there. Looks like mid control is the plan for DSS, but it's all hell breaking loose. Actually lose a player in the process. Lord Buckethead, 145 HP. Looking to follow up with the Stinger here, but the spike gets planted over towards the B site. DSS going to have to commence into the retake here. And I mean, as you said, I mean, they don't have the guns to really fight against RPG here, but if they can find these entrenched positions on the site and maybe take down the players that are bunkering, especially Hunter in this position, does get traded out, or found out rather, but Hunter still able to confirm both kills there at the end of the round, and a third for RPG.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of damage coming in from DSS, but definitely a really good round from RPG here. I mean, look at their money right now. DSS is once again going into a round where, while it's on equal terms, it's once again a round that they have to win. Because now look at their money so low, like losing this round will put them at a disadvantage for 1 more round after this.
There.
Much quieter approach into this one. RPG trying to look for mistakes here. Started off in that 2-1-2, but looks like the spike, you're going to regroup towards that at A.
Cover going up.
Trombone man, no, refreshing the one ways here. No funny business at A mains thus far. And I like that smoke actually towards top mid that RPG just threw. Kind of paints a bit of a peculiar picture for DSS. Keep those question marks going. Maybe not have them invest too many utilities onto this exec, but Hunter, if the showstopper comes through, but no one's on the site, so not going to hit anything. The Nightfall as well invested. Just gets no value other than the fact that there's no one home. But Nick, as we've seen on Bind, DSS are really good at retakes. We're going to find out if that's still true here on Sunset. Draken opening things off with the Odin, landing onto Trombone Man Noah. French Toast following up with the showstopper.
Last player standing.
Onto Hunter, but I mean, as he's still in the Hunter's Fury animation, Draken, the rest of his team falls around him. He finds himself in the clutch situation. Going to have to go for it. Gets the first shot on the Snickerdoodle, but Comey to trade things off, take him down in a 4th round win for RPG.
A bow and arrow is old-fashioned.
I mean, even though they
Sometimes
did
old ways are best.
get some damage, they got some good damage, and even in as a 1v3, Draken almost got that second there. The thing is though, as you said, they're going to retake. RPG managed to do exactly what I talked about earlier into Bind, which is to not let DSS approach the retake as they want to. I mean, they had Snickerdoodle play into the smoke, get those 2 picks. I mean, everything just started crumbling after that because it's just something so unexpected. And losing 2 players at the start of a retake, just slowly everything falls apart.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what RPG needs to be doing here. DSS, though, is once again on a round where they don't really have money. They have to probably play pistols, maybe a few low buys. They called the timeout for the halfie, and definitely a needed one. But I don't know.
This is
Definitely a map that can still go both ways. I don't. While RPG is doing really good, and it's definitely a much better look. Even than what they had on Start on Bind.
yeah.
Because while yes, the map is still close, it's still very winnable for DSS. They're actually pushing them back in the corner quite well, constantly forcing them into save rounds or rounds where they need to win, or they're forced into another save. I mean, this is exactly what's happening here.
This is definitely a position where you want to stop the bleeding, because I mean, RPG, again, they play that mental game. The moment that they feel good about what they're doing,
My camera is destroyed.
I mean, you can consider yourself out of it. But
Nightmare's over.
Hunter starting things off onto Trombone Man, though, and that was a dry fight as well. No utility expended to actually find value into that one, although the one-way was there. I mean, again, that just completely turns this A site into a magnet for RPG. You can just regroup here, confidently start to explore the space just a bit further. And I mean, also as well, Nick, I feel like it's good calling by whoever's IGLing RPG right now, because the moment you get that pick onto the Omen, I mean, I'm assuming there's probably not anyone here with the follow-up, especially because no one went for a trade from elbow or even from the left side, usually, the way they play that like 50-50 angle. So they come take this site. DSS forced into retake territory, but once again, RPG very aware and getting ahead of it before it even happens. Paint shells denying the main space, the Prowler to clear through CT, and they're checking off every single box.
I mean, they just need to play for Vexit to get as much damage as possible. That is the best chance they have.
There it is.
Like, we're able to get any damage there, which is definitely not what you want to see from their side. Once again, though, we have a round that both teams are on equal terms again. Definitely a little more stressful for DSS, but both teams are on equal terms, gun-wise.
This goes here. That goes there. Yes, this should do.
And once again, a pretty slow approach to the round here.
Cover going out.
Spike over towards A, but they really want to sell this B presence. DSS is usually not a team to budge too much, not to over-rotate. And they're really good at those retakes, so they don't even have to worry about that too early into the round, but
I must wait a moment.
still protecting towards this B space. And 5 members of RPG here and ready to go. And here it is. Dimensional drift right out into the site to follow up with the haunt. And Izumi's looking for that first blood, but Draken was actually able to take one down off the back of the trapwire detonation. He's got backside control now. And it looks like this time, DSS have changed the way they want to approach this B retake. This time, very heavy market presence. Rolling Thunder comes right onto the site before the spike actually gets planted. And Izumi gets a kill and gets away with it with the gate crash. But Draken, the shots are just landing right now. 3 on the round so far. Trombone Man Noah to follow up onto Snickerdoodle. And Comey left in the 1v3 clutch. Goes for the first peek, but Draken, good for it. And there it is, 4 on the round. And a third for DSS.
My ult is ready. You failed. Now,
And I mean, this is it. It's exactly what they need to do. Because, like I said before, trying to play aggressively against a team that is good at retaking definitely at least makes it a nuisance for them. But also, the perfect way to play against that is simply try to start the retakes earlier. Once you have that info that the team is pushing, which is exactly what DSS had there, they immediately went to the retake much earlier than what RPG expected. And instead, they were the ones that caught RPG while they were trying to get into positions for that post plant. I mean, there's Draken again.
Draken doing Draken things. Oh, there's Frost again.
And Frost definitely having a bit of a slow game so far, but I mean, he's definitely there.
Yeah.
And in a round where it's definitely important still.
I mean, the adaptations, actually, as we get deeper in these rounds, are starting to look a lot better by DSS. Looks like they're starting to get a pretty good read of how RPG like to move in the
I
mid-round.
have the spike.
Absolutely. That is, I mean, exactly what you want from them here. Because while it's not too early into the round or into the half, it's a point where it's actually really good to start getting an advantage like this. Because at the same time, if they actually manage to start winning a few rounds here, they put
30 seconds
RPG
left.
in a spot where they're the ones that need to stop this really quick.
Yep.
I dropped the spike.
Because I really have like a few rounds left into this half. And there's Frost again. Which is something I've actually really seen from DSS, which is really nice, is that all of them,
10
even though
seconds left.
sometimes they'll be having like a bit of a slow start, they're there when they're needed.
Foolish.
We have Frost here with his picks and pretty much not letting RPG do anything. And then last map we had... Okay, I mean, RPG definitely managed to kind of turn this around. But they looked around, got those 3 picks. I didn't want to stop talking, I want to continue saying, but like, that definitely was a bit unexpected.
There.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, all of them just showed like presence when needed.
Yeah.
There.
With DSS closing that gap. I mean, definitely a round that RPG, if they could take this one, would be pretty pivotal for them. French Toast looking to be early on the angle, but the paranoia forces him back. It looks like this time RPG actually want to take the tempo over towards A. So we're going to get a better look of how this A adjustment also looks from DSS, because they were actually successfully able to stop RPG in their tracks towards B last round. So just off this information, looks like this play was just to get Ghosty inserted towards this elbow position, listen for those rotations, and they're bringing things back over to B. And like you said, I mean, a quieter game so far from Frost, but I mean, the more that they come to his site, the more chances they give him to find that impact. Draken, bit of an obscure Hunter's Fury there. Not able to find value, but still, attention over here towards B. He can actually call out. They're grabbing that orb.
Tripwire destroyed.
Looks like he actually wants to get off the site here. The player's playing off. Spy cam not going to get shot out quite yet, but he's actually looking for the tag. Onto the backside player, pushes right in, does get him. He played it off because of the showstopper, but I mean, that's out of the picture now. And now they've commenced a full retake here. Bit of a crossfire, but it doesn't work in their favor. And Ghosty, I mean, he's coming all the way from A right now. He can't get into this. They tap onto the spike, make sure he's not main, but the moment that French Toast is able to work into the dark cover, they can pretty much confirm that he's going to be from Boba. And that's it.
There it is. I mean, the game is back on equal terms here, at least for the round. However, RPG is definitely the team that is on the bad side right now.
Yep.
Because they've lost 3 rounds in a row, and DSS is starting to pick up their pace. And again, that is definitely something you absolutely do not want to see.
Mm-hmm.
RPG cannot be having DSS start gaining this momentum, especially on this half, because once again, DSS is a team that, as they've shown us many times, they're really, really good on attack. So any round won from them on this half is pretty much like very important, very big for them.
Yep. And I also presume that's where this timeout is coming from as well. Go ahead, try to get that external assistance for RPG. Make sure they actually secure these last 2 rounds, because, I mean, you're absolutely right. 7-5 here for RPG would put them in a very comfortable position, especially if they can find their advantage on the pistol round in the next half. I definitely think this would give them better odds in this game, but if DSS can run away with these last 2, and also knowing that they're really good on attack, I mean, that you could basically call the series there. So I feel like it really comes down to these last 2 rounds of this half here.
Absolutely, and I don't know, it's definitely like a weird half so far. We've seen so many differences, so many changes actually going into this. In DSS has changed the way they play defense quite a lot. And I mean, they've adapted to the way RPG played really, really well. Which is, I mean, the best case scenario for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, again, RPG is definitely the team that is on the worse end right now. Even though gun-wise are on the same situation, RPG is definitely the team that needs to stop the bleeding, as we often say at this point.
Yeah. I feel like they're in a really good position to do that as well. Just looking at the ultimates that they have here. I mean, they're 3 off of Izumi, so I feel like if they definitely spend this round maybe grabbing at least one of the orbs, I would assume maybe both would be really good here, because then they can also go for like a pick, and then you've also have that dimensional drift for the last round of the half. But I mean, this round they have a lot to play with. They've got that Nightfall from Snickerdoodle, they've got the Showstopper from Hunter, and I mean, yes, they've got the Neural Theft and the From the Shadows, but those aren't really like pivotal ults that I'm really looking for them to actually use in here. I definitely think that the Showstopper and the Nightfall is actually what's going to decide this round, especially if it's like a post-plant scenario that they like refight into, or if they just use it to take the site.
Absolutely. They definitely, RPG is definitely in the position where they can very much turn this around.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least win this round, even if they don't manage to turn this around and go on at 6-6 which is still quite good for them. But at the same time, DSS is also at a quite okay position. I mean, they only have that from the shadows, but there are 2 orbs off that Showstopper, 1 orb off Neural Theft. So while they don't have the ults yet, they're at a point where they could have some, at least decently important ults for a round. I mean, if anyone's going to be able to get that Showstopper early into this round to make a change, it's going to be French Toast.
Face your fear!
Well, it actually looks like they want to use it a bit early here. Nightfall actually goes over towards Market. Hunter pops a Showstopper, but he's a little bit impatient with it. Actually not able to get the value. Paint shells to follow up, but Draken on the flip end not patient with the spray. Actually goes down. The spy cam, once again, Frost able to find out a lot of information off the back of it. Doesn't get shot out. That's soon. Snickerdoodle taking a bit low, and I mean, this retake has commenced. Quite aggressive coming into this, but they're going to play onto the site. The stun came through, but it was a bit too late. Trombone Man Noah found by his lonesome in the clutch, and there it is. RPG have gotten one of the 2 rounds that they definitely need to close off this half.
Last round in the half.
I need this.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely, what we said, it was definitely a round where RPG could have definitely taken, and they were looking a lot better, at least when it came to what they had available. It's a really good round for them. And definitely an important one. I mean, once again, they're in another round where they have a slight gun advantage. I mean, they have that 1 Bulldog on Draken. The rest are rifles. But we do have that showstopper from French Toast team. Chandra RPG getting it would be really important for them. And for both teams actually, surround where it could make a big difference.
Yeah.
Here.
I mean, for DSS, that's not a way to start either. Usually Draken's the one that gets that kill there. Goes down. French Toast can't find a follow-up, but once again, Nick, it looks like they really want everything to do with this B site. Frost looks like he might want to play into it, but showstopper comes through from French Toast, but it's invested a bit too early. Not able to capitalize, but Trombone Man Noah does take down the lurker, so that backside thorn is dealt with this early. But look at RPG. They've taken full control of Boba here. French Toast with a quick snap. Able to respond off the back of that, but the neural theft helps them coming into this. Information gathered. And now the retake commences coming right out onto the site. Dimensional drift. Or gate crash, rather, towards main. But Snickerdoodle trades out Frost. 2 members left for DSS Gaming here. Tap onto the spike, comes through. Looks like he almost went for the full defuse there, but I mean, it's a really nice back and forth fight by RPG. The half, but not enough bullets in the chamber to deal with. Comey able to take him down and secure the 7th round win for RPG.
Switching sides.
What a close round burned off the half there. It actually came down to just 1 bullet. But still, definitely a good half for both teams. I mean, RPG has this round advantage, which is something that they definitely need. He definitely need to try and win a few more rounds. I mean, 2 rounds, it's not a big difference, but at least some difference. Now, this is the half, though, where DSS made the big change last map.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to see how RPG decides to approach this.
Pretty passive approach here, too. First blood goes towards Snickerdoodle.
I have retrieved the spike.
The fight, it's a bit awkward there, but French Toast actually walking right out onto the site here. He's actually able to get over the trap wire. Ghosty makes the contact, but I mean, French Toast could have opted for like a silent jump on top of that ledge over there. Actually been able to peek towards that, but it's caught off guard instead. Spike gonna go planted towards safety here, so I mean, it's going to be really difficult for DSS to recover.
Definitely, I mean, going through this post-war situation, they have no space.
Yeah. I mean, they're just choked into this backside, but the flash comes through, does land onto the players. Looking for it, but able to land the last kills off, and they've done exactly what we said they needed. RPG got the last 2 rounds of the first half, and they also got pistol here, so I mean, it's looking pretty good for them.
Absolutely, and that is exactly stuff they need, because they want to try and get DSS back up in a position where they're not comfortable as quickly as they can into this half, and winning pistol is definitely the best possible start for it.
Yes, this should do.
What's surprising though, it looks like DSS is actually going for a force here, just like RPG did. And we have this 5 stingers coming in. It is really dangerous because some round where if DSS lose, they're in a really bad position.
Yeah.
But if they win, it's the exact opposite. They're in a really, really good position. And they have that element of surprise here, because I don't think RPG is expecting those stingers.
Yep.
And even right now, I assume they expect maybe 1 or 2. I don't think they're expecting a full force.
Yeah. I mean, a full taste of their own medicine, actually. They want to get aggressive into the CT space and get completely ahead of it. Hunter trying to deal with the pressure. Not able to take any down. And guns recovered for DSS, but the tap comes on to the spike. Izumi able to take one down. He's a bit weary of the CT presence, but the stun comes through towards main, and French Toast finishes things off with the recovered Bulldog, and that's DSS with a second round eco conversion.
And again, a round that is so good for them, because now they're in the exact opposite situation than what RPG did last half. They are the ones that have the Bulldogs, and I mean, maybe not as like strong of a buy as RPG had last half, but definitely a big advantage. I mean, look at that, they're going around against 2 Sheriffs and 3 Classics. This round that, like, RPG is just playing for damage.
I mean, definitely high risk, high reward. DSS coming into that round actually created a bit of a swing for them here, but Trombone Man Noah way too committed to the fight there. Frost is going to have to protect this Vandal here with his life. Want to come through, but Vandal actually gets recovered by Zumi, and he can safely TP away as well. Shots still coming in from DSS onto the angle. Not able to connect for the time being, but still looking for it here. Bit of an interesting smoke, actually. They're still trying to come into the angle. I mean, they've stalled them so well here. But RPG definitely landing a lot of the shots here, doing a lot of the damage, but Draken takes down Snickerdoodle there. And Ghosty looking to hold Lord Buckethead against his will. But that's it.
But they managed to take away that rifle as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
That, I mean, yeah, that is a pretty much best case, at least almost best case scenario for RPG going into this round, at least realistically speaking. Because, I mean, to win a round like this, you would need a really serious mistake coming from DSS. And, I mean, well, we didn't see that. RPG didn't manage to win the round. Definitely a very good round for them. I mean, taking 5 rifles away, they're putting themselves actually in at least a slight advantage going into this round.
Bring them down.
Group over here towards A. Actually doesn't go DSS's way with that mid control, so looks like they want to go back to what was working previously, but once again, we do have a lot of trap wires here on the site to deal with. It would actually take one down in the Nightfall. Looks like it's in his hands. He's actually going to invest it here. Trying to get rid of the trap wire on his teammate there. But I mean, it's a full flood from RPG here. They can't get off the site. No sound to work off the back of. And Frost able to land the neural theft, looking for the spray, but RPG spray back, and they take him down, and that's a 9th round win on the board here. They're starting to run away with things.
Save the day.
Absolutely, and I mean, the game is still staying close, but RPG is just looking really, really good. And once again, they're the ones with the gun advantage here. I mean, DSS is forced into a save. So it's a round where RPG should win. But now it's actually the exact opposite than what it was 2 rounds ago. It's DSS here, where any damage they can deal is really good. Because RPG's money is just not looking that good right now.
I'll find you.
Here.
There.
Another round where DSS taking things a bit slow here in the early round, but I love how dynamic RPG are being on this defense. You have the Cypher over here to deal with that B now. They might not even be aware of this tripwire. Ghosty with the one way actually almost gets away with it there, but gets forced off of the angle. He's still playing into the site as well. Tripwire gets taken down. Actually able to get one, but Trombone Man know it. With a quick trade from the Classic there, recovers a rifle. You see him back up into the angle. as he wants to go for the next one, but the rolling thunder to come through sends him sky high. The kill comes through, but it's a bit too labored from Lord Buckethead. Not able to take down Snickerdoodle. He's the only one left on the site. He's got to go for one of the fights. He does. Takes down the Fade for RPG. Izumi left in the 1v3 clutch. Gets the first one down, but as the spike continues to go here, gonna have to go for it quickly. There it is. Trombone right on the swing, able to take him down. Hunter's Fury not needed. DSS Gaming keeping things close.
And what a round from them. I mean, this was a round where, like we said, it's around DSS is expected to be playing for damage. And so they actually went away with the round, also picking up 2 rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And now, look at that. Now it's RPG, actually, that's on the very low buy. I mean, this is constantly just a back and forth of one team being on a low buy and then the other team being on a low buy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a round where even like if DSS win, they get such a good chance into the rest of this game. And then if RPG manages to win this, we just have a repeat.
Yep. I mean, Hunter found himself in a really good position, but not able to capitalize. He struggled a lot in this series with those showstoppers too. In this round, it was a bit more important with that showstopper than others. He could have had maybe at least 2 there, almost 3, but nonetheless, the regroup comes in from DSS. B site going to be taken here, and Comey tries to go up towards 10s with the Stinger. Opts out of it. Good choice.
Spike planted.
I mean, this comes down to Ghosty. If he can kill Draken here, which it looks like he might.
Last player standing.
Nope.
Draken's ready for it.
Yeah. Crosshair's in wrong position.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, all Comey's got to do is maybe get a little bit of damage here. But
So
it's like a perfect crossfire there, yeah.
exactly, and I mean, they were also in a position where Draken just managed to leave his team and go to recover their rifles as he had a Guardian still. Because they're in a position where even if something goes wrong, and I mean, 2 people fall there and it's a 1v1, Draken still had that Countess Fury.
Yep.
And looking into this round as well, TSS is once again looking so strong because they're on equal terms gun-wise, but they have the Hunter's Fury, they have the Showstopper, they have that from the shadows, and they're starting to get close to that Rolling Thunder and that Neural Theft again.
In this round, once again, bit of a format switch from RPG. Still have that Cypher towards B, but they actually closed the market door and have Snickerdoodle come and tuck over here towards mid, so it's going to be a pretty good position. I mean, this position is very underrated, Nick. I feel like this gives you so much information, especially if the other team are playing for pretty quick rotations. I mean, although DSS are walking right now, the moment one footstep is made towards either mid, tiles, or B main, Snickerdoodle can hear it.
There.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you're in the position, that's actually, I agree, that is very good. And especially if you actually have a mid setup, maybe with a person playing towards top mid, it's such an awkward position to fight.
Yep.
Or fight against, I should say.
And once again,
I mean, there's
Frost
again.
so good. Yeah.
Those legs, and I mean, they're the exact opposite of what he was doing. Now he's actually going really slow. I mean,
Yep.
RPG just wasn't ready for it.
So good. Bit of a crossfire setup here, but French Toast actually peeks ahead of it. Flashpoint to come through.
Last player standing.
Does keep Comey at bay momentarily, and Izumi actually is able to get down the opposing duelist, but Trombone actually gets the trade there, and you see it actually takes RPG out of the equation here, so Comey's going to have to save the Phantom.
And something to point out that it's actually, I kind of mentioned last round, but something that's really important here for DSS is the fact that RPG hasn't been able to get that Hunter's Fury out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a big piece of utility into
Yep.
those post-plant situations, which DSS has managed to consistently get into. So it's something that you need to get out of the way, because then the more time you give them, right now they're getting closer to the Rolling Thunder as well, to the point where you're essentially just letting them have a free round.
Yeah.
I mean, having those two ults into a post plant is such a big advantage. Maybe not a free round, but definitely a round that is much easier than it should be. Having
That's what
one
I
of the
like.
two alone is a big difference.
Yeah. That's what I really like about DSS's post plant, though, is the fact that they know because Draken's got this Hunter's Fury, let's just play Protect the President. Let's go onto the site, let's get that spike planted. And you know, they usually keep players on the site as well, right? To just take those fights and like stall even harder. And you still have Draken like hiding for that Hunter's Fury. So by the time that RPG actually get the kills on the site, because DSS are so good at defending it, I mean, they don't even have time to defuse. So that's how Draken's actually able to keep that Hunter's Fury in hand. And I like the discipline behind it too, because even the one round actually where Draken, he was in a clutch situation with Lord Buckethead, or Trombone rather. You saw Trombone actually go for the swing first before the Hunter's Fury comes through, and he just lands a shot and he doesn't have to use it.
Absolutely. I mean, small things like this make such a big difference.
Mizumi actually forced away from market with the gate crash. Just Ghosty with the classic to defend here. Now, after that timeout that we just got from RPG, I presume that's to give them just a bit of a game plan of how to play the mid-round here, just mold the map with these close-range weapons, but also how to deal with the next buy round that we're going to be getting.
I know exactly where you are.
There's new effect as well.
Yep. Oh. A nice shot to open things up for Mizumi, but still a spike to be defused. Paranoia to come through. Trombone Man completely stalling off the presence from CT from the time being, but Mizumi with the dimensional drift. Looks like he wants to come through here. And look at what this post-plant setup is here. Get a bit of a taste into what to expect, and so now they can comfortably go onto that spike tap. All they've got to do now is force out the fights. Now that they know where the positions are. The clone actually gets shot out. Actually leaves Komi by his lonesome. Pretty soon gonna have to go into the smoke and take him off of it. Got a little bit dangerous there. You saw they were worried about the time with the dark cover, but nonetheless, DSS gonna take him down and secure 11th. And I mean, they gained that lead last round, and I mean, they're clinching onto it harder here.
Absolutely. And the thing is that something DSS have been doing consistently is playing and investing a lot for the 12th round, because it can make a big difference. And the thing is that just like they were on Bind, they're once again in a position where they can invest a lot and have a really big advantage in this round. Because once again, they have the Hunter series still, but they also have the Rolling Thunder, they have that from the shadows. And I mean, right now, they also have that momentum.
Yep.
I mean, there it is.
Wow. It's exactly what you talked about. They needed to try to force that Hunter's Fury out before they had a super powerful round like this, where now they have both. And here's that late frost. Oh my goodness. Everything from DSS right now, Nick, is just so perfect. That late frost lurk, and he's got a perfect timing into Boba here. That's it.
The thing is that this is a round with an advantage. Well, they're still going to keep their Hunter's Fury for that post plan. So this is actually a round where RPG needs to play... I feel like the best thing they can do right now is play aggressively early into the round. They need to get Draken up. Because they cannot risk letting his team stall. Because once they get even close to getting that spike down, you already know Draken's going to be playing really safe.
100%.
And then the rest of the team is just going to be sacrificing themselves to get that stall in. So it's a really, really stressful retake, especially on match point.
Match point, series point here for DSS Gaming, 12-9 right now. And Nick, you and I were both right. It was a much closer game. RPG got a lot more rounds off DSS than the last game. And I suspected that too, knowing RPG play this map a lot, although it's DSS's map pick. And here we are, the decisive round. It all comes down to this. Comey TPing towards top 10s rather, once again. But DSS actually, a bit awkward there, actually got stopped on the take. But look at where Izumi has found himself. Doesn't have a gate crash to get out from the looks of things. But I mean, he's in their spawn, so they've completely contained DSS to be main here. Even with a Hunter over towards mid as well. I mean, DSS can't go anywhere. I see pings on the minimap. It looks like they're aware that this is a possibility. And they actually take out Izumi off the back of that. And RPG lose that fight out. Somehow have them contained to one extremity. And still losing out the fight right now. DSS are running a masterclass here. Comey still towards the 10s position here in market. And I mean, it's a 3v4.
The moment Spike started being planted, Hunter running back main, and then the rest is just playing aggressively, getting those two picks, going into the 3v1. And I don't even know what Comey can do here.
Shadows traveling.
I mean, it's going to be difficult for sure. Looking to go through, but French Toast finishes things off. And that's it. 13-9 for DSS Gaming, Nick. I mean, it's definitely an expected outcome. I mean, we wanted to see a 2-1 here, but we got that 2-0 from DSS, and they're just as dominant as they were before. And I mean, more importantly, this game right here sends DSS Gaming to the grand final.
Definitely something I have to say I was kind of expecting, but I also didn't expect it to go quite like this.
Yeah.
I expected DSS to be the one to win this game or make it to finals, but I definitely thought RPG was at least going to force them into a corner a bit more.
Yeah.
Definitely not a bad look from RPG though as well. I mean, considering how good DSS has been looking, this game is definitely not a game where you should be taking like, oh, DSS looked like, at least in their attack halves, like much better, so RPG is not a good team. That's not the case at all.
Yeah. I definitely think RPG have everything to be proud of. I mean, coming out of this series. I mean, they've gotten more success against DSS than any other team.
Absolutely. They did really well. And especially considering they lost their map pick going into this round, it's something really important as well, because they definitely were a lot more stressed than you'd want to be going into the second map, especially when it is obviously your opponent's map pick.
Yep.
So even looking that much better, and for a really big part of the map, having DSS backed up into a corner. I mean, that first half was continuously rounds on equal terms that RPG was winning, and then DSS being on save rounds. It was constantly the same repeat, and even though DSS managed to win a few rounds, RPG was constantly winning damage and not letting them get away with anything. If anything, RPG was the one that was winning more rounds.
Yep. I mean, this is a really nice result still for RPG, and also Snickerdoodle actually coming out as the match MVP, even off the back of that loss, so he's had a really good map here as well.
Absolutely. They all look really good. I mean, for both teams, they all look really good.
And this sends RPG down to the lower final, where they're going to be going up against the winner of Celestial Titan and Times. Now, regardless of how that game goes, Nick, and that's actually our second game for tonight, that'll come up later, but I mean, do you have any predictions on that one?
I mean, it's again one game where I can definitely see it going both ways. So far, we have Times, a team that came out at least not looking the best, that came back and showed a completely different self, winning many games. But then the Celestial Titan, who has consistently looked rather good. So it's a game that can, once again can definitely go both ways, and I can't really say I know who's gonna win, because Celestial Challengers is a team that's very different than what Times have versed so far into this tournament.
Yeah.
They have a very different play style and different approach to how they do things. But the same thing goes for Times. They're a team where, while they're more like close to a standard play style, like a really disciplined textbook almost play style, it has like this sort of like twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really not sure which team is going to be getting that.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be difficult. I feel like Times have been on such a heater lately. I mean, just look at this bottom bracket run from them. And then even just like, they've been painting a Cinderella story so far, Nick. I definitely feel like this team has surprised everybody in the tournament thus far, and I think they have really good chances against Celestial Titan. But on the flip end, as you said, Celestial Titan, a bit of an anomaly, the way that they come into the server and play such a principled game, but because so many teams here are so focused on that innovation, when you go up against that principled team, sometimes, you know, it's kind of hard to play against that. And I definitely think that we saw that here on this map. I mean, DSS are a team that we also see them do a lot of innovation, and they just played a standard comp on Sunset. And I mean, it's like, wait, Draken on Sova? Wait, they're playing a regular comp here? They were breach, right? So when you come into the server and you see these things happening, it kind of, that element of surprise, just like you said before map 1, and it all just played out perfectly for DSS. Now, the bigger picture I want to paint here is that lower final. That's where RPG have found themselves. Now, regardless of Celestial Titan or Times win this matchup, do you think that RPG has a good chance between both of those teams, regardless?
I don't think it's something to be taken for granted. Definitely not. But I do believe there's a very good chance that we see RPG winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, RPG has just been so good so far. And again, while even people might say today they didn't look that great, in my opinion, they played really well.
Yeah.
So I do believe that RPG definitely has a very good chance to win that game. It's definitely not a game to be taken for granted. Like, it's not going to be an easy one for them.
Yeah.